Hello, this is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor, and we come together again today on Sunday, when we're supposed to be relaxing and have a cup of coffee, right? Listen, a lot of you may think, gosh, this guy is kind of hokey. The way that he does his podcast, there's nothing professional about it. I never wanted it to be professional. I wanted it to be, professional looking wise. I just wanted to come and sit down and chat with you and talk with you in a normal way. Like if you were to be across from my desk and we were having a conversation, or we were sitting on the couch having a conversation, because really that's what I'm doing, is having a conversation with you in these podcasts. And I like that. I like being able to sit down and of course, I forgot to get my cup of coffee. I should have probably have gotten it before I sat down, but I just got waylaid this morning. I woke up and I tell you, I was really confused. I thought it was Monday. So I got up, got dressed, ran into my office, and then I found out, no, it's only Sunday. What can you do? That is life. A lot of you have had the experience during these last 2.5 years, through the pandemic and through inflation and through a bad economy, that your income was outweighed by inflation in debt. And a lot of you are probably now going to experience, and probably are experiencing, the call from the credit bureau, the collector. And at this moment, credit card debt is at the highest it has ever been in the history of this nation. And it's not a good thing, because it's not a pleasant experience to get a call from the credit card company. Now, I have no debt. I have no credit cards. I have no loans. I have no outstanding anything. But I got a call the other day from a credit card company saying, was it a credit card company? No, I don't think it was a credit card company. I think it was something else. I can't remember what it was. But it was something that had nothing to do with me. It wasn't even my debt. And the guy who called was really obnoxious, rude, obnoxious, making claims against me. So finally I said, listen, I'm recording this. I'm recording this call because of the way that you're acting towards me when it is not my debt. And he hung up on me. But there are approaches that we can use as we're dealing with credit card debts about how to talk with them, how to negotiate with them, and what are the rights under the Consumer Act. So I'm going to go through some of these things. Now, when I say Consumer Act, there's what is called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. And that is what monitors these debt collection rules, provided clarification on some of the provisions in the FDCPA, namely related on how you can be contacted and what they cannot contact you on. So provisions of this legislation give you several rights that you should be aware of. So let's go through some of those. 1, debt collectors may call you between the hours of 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. in your local time zone, unless you give them permission to contact or conduct phone calls outside these hours. So you have to make sure that you did not give them permission any other time that's within these conformed hours. And then there's other things. In some cases, debt collectors may be prohibited from contacting you at your place of employment. And that's pretty much standard throughout the United States. You can request in writing that debt collectors stop calling you and communicate via other means instead. So if you want to contact the debt collection agency and say, listen, I only want you to send me emails, you can do that, but you have to put it in writing to them. Debt collectors may contact your friends, relatives, or employer to find out your phone number or where you live, but they cannot reveal details about the debt owed. So if a collector calls your mom and say, listen, I need to talk to your son or daughter. I need to have her phone number and address because she has a high debt on her car and we're just about ready to collect it. They can't do that. They can only ask for certain information. If they do, note it because you may use it against them. And I don't like this idea of them being able to contact friends and neighbors and family members. I think that that's just really low class. Debt collectors cannot engage in any type of harassment that includes profane, abusive, or threatening language when attempting to collect a debt. Now, I have heard really bad collectors, especially in my mediation business, when I sit down and talk with them on behalf of a client. And I tell you, they're obnoxious. They are unprofessional, they're rude, and they're disgusting. I remember one time, and I was shocked at this. I was doing some consulting work for a large hospital in Southern California, and they had their own collection department. Do you know how many people they had in collections? 300 people doing collections. I thought that was obnoxious, especially since it was a Christian nonprofit organization that should know that they're nonprofit, so they may lose out on some of this money. You have a right to dispute your credit report and get validation of the debt. Debt collection activities must stop if you dispute it within a certain time period. And then debt collectors can contact you. Debt collectors can contact you on social media and send a friend request, but they must make clear that they're a debt collector. So if somebody of a company that is a debt collector contacts you or asks for a friend, they must admit to you that they are, a debt collection company. So there are some things that you can do. Now, if you choose to negotiate this debt by yourself, you can do that. But you have to be very strategic and be very careful about the language that you use and make no promises. Make no promises during the course of that conversation until you have reached an agreement with that debt collection company or with that company that you owe money to. But you can do it. But make sure that you put everything in writing. If you put it in writing, then the ability to stick to that and not be harassed anymore to get more money out of you, you can do. Remember, when you get a collection call, normally, let's say if there's a debt of $1,000, they probably bought that debt from the company that you owe it to. So they probably bought it for $700, let's say. So from $1,000 to $700. So you know that you've got some leeway in there that you can negotiate a lower amount. And that's what you should be doing, negotiating a lower amount. But once you agree to that, you have to stick to that, because then it can go into civil breach of contract if you don't monitor that. But make sure that if these individuals are being rude to you, mean to you, they're harassing you nonstop, they're calling you, they're just being obnoxious individuals, that is against the rules. And if you want to record those conversations, you can, but you've got to tell them, I am going to record this conversation, because there's specific laws about recording conversations. So you have to notify them at the beginning of the conversation with the collection agency that you are going to record this conversation. I tell you, I hate to see it, but with the debt of Americans at the moment, with such high credit card, with such high student loan debt, with such high automotive debt, with such high mortgage debt, and HELOCs on their homes, at some point in time, if we don't control this inflation and bring the numbers downward so that it is not disrupting your wages and eating away at your wages, I'm afraid that we're going to have more and more of these collection calls. And I hate to see it. I really do hate to see it. So if you really want to, go online and find the stories out there and the articles that will tell you how to deal with collection agencies. Be prepared, be proactive. Because if you are in debt and if you miss some payments, you're going to get that call. So I hope that each and every single one of you sit down. If you've got debt at the moment, figure out what that debt is. Even better, if you sit down and put together a personal financial budget, which every individual should do in America at this point in time, sit down and do a budget. Know what your revenues are coming in, your wages and other income, cash flow that is flowing into your bank accounts. Then log in all of your expenses, such as your utility bills, your rent bills, your car payment bills, any student debt that you may have. All debt issues, you must be on that budget so you know what's expected to come your way. And everything that's an expense that's going out of your bank, you should have a line item for that expense line. Then you know what your net income is going to be. Income minus expenses equals net income, or maybe even available cash that you can manage that so that it's going into various accounts so that when there is an emergency, you have emergency fund available to you. I know right now is a tough time because we're having to all cut our budgets. All of us Americans are cutting our budget except the American government. They're the only ones that are so out of control and don't know how to manage their money that there should be a collection agency that's pounding on the United States government. I'd be more than happy to do that. That'd be a fun job. But you and I have had to cut our budgets time and time again based upon oil prices and gasoline prices, based on utility costs. Right now, we're going to be faced with high utility bills during this winter months, I should say. And we need to prepare for it. We need to know exactly where we stand financially. I have a personal budget Excel sheet that's in my website. I'll give you the link down below in the storyline of this podcast. But it helps you put together your budget and then compare it to the actuals that is coming in. If you don't want to use that, then subscribe to like Quicken. Quicken has an online budget that you can prepare, and also it will measure the actual expenses that go out and the actual income that comes in. But I have the Excel. It's free of charge. It's no gimmick to it. You can just click on it and use it. It's very easy to do. But I want you to understand that you will, if you've got debt, you will get a call from the collection agency, but you can also control those calls through the rules of credit agencies in credit reporting. And you have the ability to put together a budget. If you need help with the budget, I do that. I do it by the hour, and we can sit down and work on it. Now, a lot of you are going to be in conflict with your significant other over that budget, but I'm there to keep the peace, and I can help you and walk you through it and get to numbers that is realistic, that you can live within. That's just something that I do. Listen, if you have any questions, send me an email to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. And if you would like to sit down and talk with me, You can you can schedule online at www.lodge.co.com. Links are down below for all of that. So everybody go out and have a great Sunday. God bless you. I hope that you've gone to church, or you will be going to church, I mean. And remember, you can make it through anything through faith that God is going to guide you. God is going to take care of you. All that you need to do is repeat the promise that he has given you in your prayers that says, ask anything in my name, and so you shall receive. It's the best promise out there, and he will be with you. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Live on in faith that God will provide. This is Mike Lodge, again, the business advisor. I will talk with you soon. Bye-bye, and have a great Sunday.